What up, guys? It's your girl T. Happy Sunday. It is the last day of freedom before the September Shred Challenge starts. So I just wanted to pop on and let anyone know who didn't know already that we are starting a new health and fitness challenge tomorrow right here on my channel. I will leave a link to the September Shred Challenge video here in case you missed it and you would like to join and you want to know the rules. But beyond that, today is just a get ready with me. These videos are not super great in terms of views on my channel, but I do them because it's just a nice time for me to hang out with my real ride or dies, just catch up, spend some time together. I don't know if anyone ever actually gets ready while watching get ready with me videos, but in the event you do, let's do it together. If not, and you're like me and you just watch them because you've got nothing better to do, feel free to hang out as well. I will be trying out some new products in this video, or products that are relatively new to me, like the Desi X Katy collection. That's what I've got on my eyes and my lips, and the highlighter on my cheeks, actually both highlighters on my cheeks. I'm also trying out a new foundation that I got as a sample from Sephora, and a couple other things that are just new bits and bobs in my collection slash rotation. Oh, and if you're curious about my hair, I actually just did it yesterday. These are just super jumbo Senegalese twists. These are crazy long. I will leave the stats on the hair I used in the description box. I've had this hair in my weave stash for quite a few years, and it was time to just get rid of it and use it. But this will be my hairdo for the next 3-4 weeks or so. We'll see how long we can get away with this. I haven't had silky hair in quite some time since I did some super ratchet, not on purpose, but they wound up being super ratchet, long Senegalese twists a few years ago with purple and like color number 2. And it did not turn out the way I had envisioned, man. That's another story for another day. Let's get into this get ready with me. First off, my skin has kind of been going crazy lately. I think I used a product that kind of broke me out. I've had a couple zits in the past couple of weeks, which really sucks because my skin had finally recovered after all of my travel over this summer and was kind of getting back to normal. And now it's shitty again. So we gotta color correct as a result. And color correcting, I'm using this Smashbox color correcting stick. This is newish. I've only been using this relatively recently, but I have been liking it because I feel like it's really convenient. It's really easy to just draw it on the areas where you need it. And because it's basically a crayon, you can be kind of precise with it and really like get into the smaller areas like under the eye here. Guys may or may not be able to hear, but I just turned my fan on. It is hot in LA today. The September Shred Challenge starts tomorrow. This is the last day where I can drink as much as I want, and so I am. This is the St. Archer IPA, by the way, if anyone is curious. That's my current favorite beer, mainly because I can't actually get my favorite beer, which is the 21st Amendment Toaster Pastry Ale. I think Bevmo either discontinued carrying it or the beer has been discontinued altogether by 21st Amendment. I'm hoping it's only the former. I'm hoping that, you know, the beer will still exist out there somewhere so I can hopefully have it again someday. I really do love that beer. It's the best. I actually taste tested it for an episode of Why Would You Drink That, and by far the most successful Why Would You Drink That episode I ever did on a personal level, because that was a couple of years ago and I still love that beer. It's probably maybe my all-time favorite, but you know, that always changes every couple of years if you're a beer drinker. There's always new makeup coming out these days, especially with the whole advent of like the YouTube beauty community and just this hype machine that it is. And part of that was the Desi X Katy collection that just came out from Dose of Colors. This is the palette here. It's called The Girls. And I'm thinking I want to go in with Turbosan. That color was calling my name even when they were just first showing their collection. These are all recommended to be used with your finger, so that is what I will do. I have not even swatched these like on my arm yet. I'm just going right in on the eye. Hello. I generally have been not here for it with all these YouTuber collaborations that are usually just like crap products and they're slapping a YouTuber's name on so that they can use that person's influence to move the units. But I'm a really big fan of Desi and Katy. If you watch them, let me know in the comments. Are you a Desi or are you a Katy? But I feel like I'm definitely more of a Katy in terms of my personality. And I really wanted to support them. I'm a lot less capricious and falling into the trap of FOMO and like buying every single thing that comes out. I try to be a lot more conscientious these days. I don't think I'll ever be a minimalist because I love to try new things and I love to have options, and I am a chameleon. I change my look a lot, obviously, with this hair. This was one collection that once I heard about it, I knew I wanted to support, not just because I like Katy and Desi, but because it looked like a really nice set of products. The lip colors, particularly the liquid lip colors, were definitely colors that spoke to me on a deep level. I really like this color. This is my kind of color. And this collection from Dose you could only get from Dose directly or from Namie's in North Hollywood, which is unfortunate. I was kind of hoping they would carry it at Ulta so I could get my points, because Ulta is carrying Dose of Colors now. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Ulta has been adding new brands like crazy. They carry MAC now, NARS, Dose of Colors, Wet n Wild. So they're really expanding their repertoire, I would say, over at Ulta to include a lot of brands, and I'm excited that Dose of Colors is one of them. It's nice to see an indie brand making it on shelves, a Latina-owned indie brand, by the way, so I always support that. I just love seeing brands that like that get their come up. Dose of Colors, I will admit, is relatively new to me. I had never even purchased anything of theirs until last year's Fame Expo, but I still definitely root for them. I'm gonna blend out the crease. I'm gonna use the Tartelette palette, YouTube classic. I still love this palette. I realize no one talks about this anymore because it's always on to the next thing and what's next, what's new. I really wish that people would sometimes shop their stash, because there's so many good things that people forget about just because there's new shit. I say as I use the brand new Desi Katy palette on my eyes. I'm gonna go with, I think, Best Friend and maybe a bit of Power Player mixed together. Generally speaking, my makeup buying this year has been hardly anything. I mean, I still buy a lot of makeup, let's not get it twisted, but hardly anything compared to what it has been in other recent years, mainly because it's just, I don't want to be a fucking hoarder, and enough is enough after a while. I'm actually going to go back in with a little bit more of Turbo Sun to just re-intensify some of that glitter I lost when I was blending out the crease. The eyeshadows I have been buying, which has been few and far between, I bought the Katy and Desi palette, and then shortly before that I also picked up the Sephora Pro palette, the editorial one. I know, that's the one with the bright colors, like the neons in it. Completely uncharacteristic. Since I started even talking about makeup on this channel, I've always been like, cool tone nudes all day, every day, but something is happening this year. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm kind of feeling color and feeling bright looks, feeling super inspired by looks that Jay Kissa does, who I love. And not just bright eyeshadow looks, but also just not wearing foundation. It's okay to wear a full eye look and not also have to do full skin if you don't want to. I've been taking a lot of inspiration from her for sure. So instead of doing full-on foundation just because I'm doing a full eye look, I've been experimenting with just doing like concealer around my mouth area and under my eyes and calling it a day. Okay, I'm gonna tight line and pop on some lashes off camera. We are now ready to go in with some actual foundation. Yeah, for all that talk about being inspired to not wear a foundation just because I'm wearing a full eye, actually I'm gonna go in with foundation today. Trying the Armani Luminous Silk, literally just a sample size from Sephora. This is shade number 9 that I picked up, which looks like it might be a little too light. I don't know. Let's see. It's sort of bridging the gap between my hyper-pigmented chin and mustache to the rest of my face. Did y'all see all those videos about the Wowder going around pretty recently? All these different YouTubers were like, I'm using this brand new powder. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it's not a powder, it's a Wowder. And then if anyone even bothered to Google search, which I didn't because I didn't give a fuck, I guess it was from Glossier the whole time. Like, I do not understand what the fuck that entire marketing strategy was. Who the fuck thought, here's what we'll do. We'll give a bunch of people this product and then say they can't talk about it and make sure they say a bunch of times they can't talk about it, and then eventually they're gonna talk about it. I just found that extremely irritating. It really crinkled my sphincter. I don't know if maybe these companies are just trying to one-up each other in their marketing strategies and their viral marketing, but that was fucking stupid. I was just like, why are they acting like anybody cares? Like, whenever this fucking Wowder comes out, everyone's gonna know they're gonna buy it or they're not. Alright, Luminous Silk. I don't know if this is my shade with you, because I look kinda ashy on camera. It does not look this bad in real life, though. It looks okay in real life. You guys, we are almost in Q4 of 2017 already. Early in the year, I sort of proclaimed that for 2017, travel is my vice. That was what I said. And here we are in August, and I feel like I've already done more travel this year alone than I have done in the past 5-6 years. A lot of it had to do with just re-embracing my adventurous spirit. For quite some time, I was sort of in a rut, and I didn't think of myself as an adventurous person, a spontaneous person. And this year, I've managed to crawl out of that rut, and I'm realizing that I actually really am a very adventurous and spontaneous person. I don't know how I lost that aspect of myself, but I was talking to my best friend about it while we were in New Orleans, actually on a semi-spontaneous trip for his birthday. And he was just like, no, you're totally crazy and spontaneous. I don't know what was going on with you recently. I thought maybe you were just maturing and maybe wanting a change. That's not who you were when I met you, and that's not who I've known you to be. So it was really interesting to feel like I was changing, but really changing back to myself / finding myself again, and then to have that thought validated by the person who knows me the best, I thought was kind of fascinating. So far this year, I've been to Utah. I went there for Sundance with work. I've been to Paris, Rome, Barcelona, obviously, San Francisco, which I go up there all the time because my best friend lives up there, New Orleans, which is my favorite American city. I'm going to Chicago next month for a wedding. I got another wedding in October in Pioneer Town, which is here in California. I also went to San Diego, which is still here in California, but you know, that's travel. And ideally, I would like to do another big, like, passport required trip before this year is over. So I really am living up to that intention I set for travel to be my vice, even without being super task oriented about it, like crossing things off a list. I kind of feel like I've just been going with the flow and living my life, and then things just kind of fell into place. What else is going on? Ray Ray turned 1 last month in July. Where's she at? Ray Ray! Here's my girl. She turned 1 last month. You know, one thing with all this travel is I have kind of been feeling like I haven't been the best human to my dog. I try to be a good human to my dog, but when I'm traveling, I can't really bring her with me realistically most / all of the time. So I'm so grateful that I've got friends who love her as much as I do, and she loves them, and they take great care of her whenever I need to fly the coop and can't bring her with me. I think I do want to see if I can start traveling with her, because I'm just nervous about bringing her on a plane. I've never traveled with a dog or any pet before, and it just makes me nervous. I feel like I'd rather her be happy and comfortable here at home and maybe having my friends look after her, but I don't know, maybe I need to just get over it, because I think she'd be happy to be with me if I leave town. So I don't know if any of you guys have any suggestions on traveling with a dog, because she's probably 15 pounds, maybe less. Let me know in the comments. What else is going on? Oh, have you guys been watching some of the new shit on Netflix? I just finished Ozark with Jason Bateman, and to be truthful, I watched it because it had Jason Bateman. People have compared it to Breaking Bad, which on a superficial level, I guess I can see. I'm just taking Turboson, I'm gonna run it under my lash line on the bottom now. On a superficial level, I guess I can see that, but it's not as good as Breaking Bad, but it's pretty good. It's entertaining. I feel like it's darkly comedic at times, which is kind of cool. And Jason Bateman actually directed a lot of the episodes. Suze is designed to be used wet, so I'm actually gonna just hit my brush with a little bit of rose water one time and just dip it into Suze, which is the lightest gold shade in the Girls palette. I also just started another Netflix show, which is a comedy. It's got Keegan-Michael Key, and it's called Friends from College. I've seen a billboard or two for that show around town, but I feel like no one's talking about it, and I really love it. I watched like 5 episodes, maybe 4, just yesterday in one go. Like, I just couldn't stop watching it because it had genuine laugh out loud moments for me. It's also got Fred Savage. I'm a pretty tough critic when it comes to comedy. I don't know, I'm just kind of stuck up when it comes to my comedy. I hate lazy comedy writing, and I feel like this show is really, really fresh and funny, and I just like it a lot. This is another not new product, but I don't think I've ever used it on camera before. It's the Clinique Chubby Stick. They call it a sculpting contour, but I feel like it's too warm to be really contour. It's more of a bronzer crayon. I'm just gonna try to use that to help warm up my complexion. That's why I'm reaching for it today, because I feel like this luminous silk has me looking ghostly on camera, and I do not care for it. Not a big blush fan, but when I do use blush, I like the liquid / cream ones, and I'm going to be using one of the NARS liquid blushes today. This is in the shade Torrid. I've used this one maybe 2-3 times so far, but it's crazy pigmented. It actually reminds me of my beloved Daniel Sandler blushes, but a different consistency. But in terms of like how far the pigmentation takes you, it's almost too much. So you really need just a drop. You guys let me know how your 2017s have gone thus far, you know, politics and so forth aside. Just on a personal level, just check in with whatever goals and aspirations you may have set forth for yourself at the beginning of the year, and let me know how you do it. I'm gonna go in with some bronzer. This is Diffused Bronze Light by Hourglass. This is their newest shade of their bronzer. You might be able to see in the pan, but it's kind of cooler toned, and I'm just gonna kind of use this to set the Clinique cream / add a little bit more of an actual shadow. I'm gonna highlight. I believe it or not, even though I have talked much shit about the excessive, overdone highlighters that are out there and the highlighting trend where people just look sweaty and greasy, I did actually pick up the highlighters from the Desi Katy collection as well. Curiosity got the best of me. The darker of the two is Mírame, and that is what that looks like in the pan. And here we have Fuego, which is the lighter of the two. To be honest with you, both of them look a lot darker in person to me than they looked on the interweb. They both looked a lot lighter to me online than they do in person, but we'll see how they look on the cheeks, because that's what really matters. I'm gonna be a real YouTube girl, and I'm gonna use 2 fucking highlighters, which I don't think I've ever done in my life. I'm gonna start off with Mírame. Okay, so this definitely lacks subtlety. I'm a little bit more on the barely there train. I'm actually using my setting powder to just mattify the tip of my nose, as a matter of fact, right now, because I was seeing I was getting that natural Rudolph butt nose highlight that I fucking hate. Alright, so that's just Mírame. Definitely, you know, on trend. I'm going to do just a little bit of Fuego on top, and because of what I just experienced, I'm going to use an extremely small brush so I can be very precise. This is just a Sigma E40. I'm just going to take a bigger brush and just kind of try to soften all this and blend them a bit more. I don't know, y'all. I know like a lot of people will live for that kind of look, but so there you go. That's the 2 of them on there blended a bit more. For the lip, I'm going to use more Creamer Please with their over-the-top lip gloss, but first I must line. Brown lip liner is probably the most clutch item in any brown girl's makeup collection. There were 2 nude lipsticks in the collection, More Creamer Please, which is the darker one, and then another one which I think is called No Shade, if I remember correctly. If you guys want me to do like a dedicated video on the entire Desi X Katy collection, by the way, who started this whole X thing for collaborations? I find that so obnoxious. Who started that? It doesn't even make sense. Sometimes people even be like Desi times Katy or whatever. I don't want to pick on them, like every collaboration does this. I just personally hate that thing with the X, like Desi times Katy, Desi X Katy. It's fucking stupid. So right now we're looking like this. Don't be afraid. Never underestimate the power of a bit of padding. Anyway, yeah, if you guys would like me to do a review on the full collection, because I do have the full collection, just let me know. I know that Desi and Katy are both Latina, so it was probably formulated and designed more with women of their complexion and lighter in mind. But I was curious to see how everything would look on someone with my complexion, so, and I wanted to support the collab, like I said, so I got everything. I got the full collection. This is More Creamer Please with a brown lip liner and some padding left matte. Gonna go over the top with Over the Top. And there's More Creamer Please with Over the Top. Over the Top. And that's it. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you would like to see a full-on review of the entire Desi Katy Dose of Colors collection. Best of luck to everyone participating in the September Shred Challenge with me. We're going to need each other. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.